There we go. All right, what's going on, guys? We got quite a few people in here. I apologize. If I would have known we would have been so packed, I would have been more readily prepared. So I apologize. So let's get on into it. Make sure everything is right. Okay, yeah, let me fix a few things here. Yeah. So, I guess all of you guys know by now that we had this situation last night with Perez Hilton, where he apparently severely mutilated himself while live on TikTok. And so I saw that he and his team had put out a statement and that he was being treated for his injuries, but that he was going to be okay. Okay, so he was bank raped, so he is in Florida, I guess.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay, so he was bank raped, taken into medical custody where they're treating him. And it wasn't until earlier, and I saw a video from Charlie where it showed that there were more people on the phone with him. And we saw that, and I have to say that just that whole thing is so dystopian to just watch these people's non-reaction about this severe thing that was going on. And I think it's really telling about the world that we live in. And I think that, and here's something that, my whole life has been one of those things you start trying to talk to people about. And they're like, yeah, you're crazy. But I think people are really ready to start talking about demonic possession and things of that nature, especially with the very public display that was what happened with Perez Hilton. And, and that's where you start asking, and we take a look at mental illness, Look, what I'm trying to say is, could a human being, without some kind of outside influence, completely mutilate their body like that? Could a human being with no outside influence, mutilate and discard their own genitalia? I don't believe so. I believe that all of these things are outcomes from some type of demonic possession or some type of spiritual molestation. And as I had said with my post, it's all about frequency. And think about virtue and sin on opposite ends of that spectrum, okay? So your sin is a low frequency and your virtue is a high frequency. So, and that's the thing, it's all about, your life is supposed to be all about balance. But look, when someone lowers their frequency from, I don't want to, all sin's not the same, I don't want to be extra on this, but say, okay, a big one is sexual degeneracy. Okay, sexual degeneracy lowers your frequency to a point where these interdimensional beings, demons, can molest you or inhabit you in such a way to do things like this. And I think it is common today. And let's, to kind of back me up here, let's go take a look. Let's listen to Father Rippenberger. I believe it's Rippenberger, the guy. He was a exorcist. No. Okay, let's see. It's not Father Rippenberger or whatever. Excuse me, he was. But let's take a look here. Okay, here we go. I think this is one of our main problems right here. Let's listen to this video right here that is titled Father Ripperger. A demon told this exorcist, it's how I took your government out. So I believe that's what we're all enduring right here. And if you guys are not familiar with it, I beg that you look into the Babylon working rituals conducted by Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard. And also the Collins Elite. We'll go over that story one night if you guys would like to. I appreciate all you guys being here. We've got 54 people watching across all platforms here. I really appreciate it. If you guys have not already, please subscribe to the channel. I'll make content almost every day. We're starting to get a little bit of a community here. I'll put the link down for the Discord, or a link for the Discord down in the description as well. I really appreciate all you guys. Stick right here, and I will continue to bring you news having to do with these tumultuous days that we are dealing with right now. I am a husband and father of 3 children. I do believe, beyond a shadow of doubt, that we are in the end times, the biblical end times, and that that right now, if you have not already, is the time to start taking your faith more seriously. I was an IV drug addict for many years, 2 decades almost. I had a severe back injury, and I had to keep working, so I just numbed myself up and kept going to work until finally it put me down. I had 3 vertebrae out of my spine. They put screws in and rods and a cage to put one back into place. But when I went back in for neck surgery in 2023 to have a full stack fusion, they discovered I had what's called end-stage cervical stenosis. So me and my wife decided not to go through with the surgery because he told me it was a 25% chance I wouldn't make it through it. So now this is what I do. I try to inform you guys, try to warn you guys, and try to let you know about this spiritual battle that's taking place right now, but will become more dominant or visible in the coming weeks. But right now, let's go ahead and take a listen to this video. Let me get my headphones so the mic don't mess it up here. I'm gonna go ahead and start this.
It's interesting. No, I think all religions have been persecuted at one point or another through time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But he also says, do not make peace with evil, destroy it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like being the parent of a drug addict, and hard love. Sometimes you just gotta stop enabling.
You said you were the parent?
No, I just said that the situation was like that. Yeah, yeah. I think more and more people are starting to see that we live in a satanic country. And this even goes back to the founding of the country by these Freemasons. George Washington being one of those Freemasons, and I noticed something that I was watching the documentary about him, which is very interesting, by the way. It was a documentary on Netflix, but it's very good. He was a very interesting man, and I noticed with him being a Freemason, which wasn't brought up during that, but I did notice that in his writing, he always said that Providence would see him through. He never mentioned God. It was God that saw him through. He believed it was Providence that saw him through. Yeah, which I think is over. I think that the acceptance of the whole LGBTQ thing is over. And this would I said today we were making a video earlier today, which I've already got posted on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to check it out. And so we're talking about how this huge liberal takeover of the AAA gaming industry, ruined some of these top franchises by trying to inject this queer ideology into everything. And it's a joke. People don't want this shit, man. And I don't know if anybody has told anybody this, but your sexuality is a private thing. You don't need to, my kids don't need to see you out parading around, and having, riding a donkey in your Speedos in a parade because but, I mean, I don't get it. We all have sins that we commit, but we don't have parades for them. And I honestly think that people are just accepting this bullshit. We'll get back to it. Yeah. There's actually, look, it's getting off where I wanted to go with this. I wanted to actually talk about demonic possession, okay? And we had already gone over a little bit there, but when you think about it, you think of movies like The Exorcist, And you think about movies like, the Taking of Deborah Logan, whatever it was. But here's the thing is, yes, sometimes you can have extreme cases like that. But a lot of times you can have possession that manifests itself as in another way. That someone wouldn't even know. Okay? And this is becoming so common because we've been geared towards and brought up in a culture that is now more than ever embracing sin, and that is the end game of a culture that puts wealth above all other measures of success. And that ends up with, what we have today. People running the show that have absolutely no humanity. They only care for themselves. And that's another thing that really, really pisses me off about modern day, what they call themselves Christians. When you have people like Erica Kirk, and, let's just say she didn't kill her husband. And you have people like her going out and, pronouncing the name of the Lord and dancing around in $2,000 suits and all this. And then you have this other effing psychopath lady, that, is Trump. I think she's Trump's pastor or something. And, this lady is, here she is. Yes. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, here's this lady. And I do believe that there's a special place for people that blaspheme the name of the Lord by doing things like this. And when you're dancing around out here and you're talking about how much money you have, wealth I don't know where it's from. I do know the verse. It is easier to squeeze a camel through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. So, let's go. Watch this real quick with Tucker. And because I want to know a little bit more about this lady as well. The one that is Trump's pastor. Because she looks like one of the, what are they called? Like, Joel Osteen. These false prophets. These, heretics. What do you call? What do you call people like Joel Osteen except it's called a something preacher?
Evangelical.
No,
The devil, like Kevin Copeland.
it has to do with like wealth, like prosperity preacher. There you go, prosperity gospel. Oh yeah. Let's watch this real quick, you guys, and give me just a second, and then I'm gonna go off on prosperity gospel. This. Zero. Here, check this. I told you. Yeah. No. Huh. Uh, I wonder what administration this was. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. I have, and nobody, very few people, especially not your every normal, everyday person, knows Christian theology like the back of their head. Um, but it does infuriate me at a time when, and it is happening in a certain extent, but at a time when we really need to bring people to God more than any other time in history. You have these people getting up here, these heretics, and blaspheming the name of Christ as they put on their little gig for personal gain. And that's where you get these prosperity preachers, which uh, I am disgusted by them. I see that they shall have a proper place in hell. But the worst one of all is Kenneth Copeland, who is obviously possessed by a effing demon. just, I'm sure I can look at, there's got to be a compilation of just, yo, come on. Here you go. Yeah. The best I can is coffee. Let's stew on this. Oh, yeah. Now the beat's gonna drop. Uh, this, I mean, and then you've got, yes. Then you've got Joel Osteen, worth of millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's multi-million-dollar mansion. He wouldn't open up his church during, what was it, the Katrina that he wouldn't open the church? So what you have here is another false prophet. Another false prophet. Dirtying the name of God by using it for their own personal gain. Those kind of people disgust me. And it's people like this Trump pastor that right now when we need to bring people to God more than anything, especially young people. I think I think that's really where they got us. Look, I consider liberals to be the biggest group of victims in our country. And I'll tell you why, because they succumb to all of the brainwashing that was going on. I think they played on the soft heart of Americans, for one thing. And of course you want to think, well, everybody's the same. We treat everybody with kindness, but you know what? That only works if everybody else thinks that way. And the world's not like that. And I think that they were a few from reality, because a lot of times these people are brought up sheltered, suburban. Uh-oh.